How to wholesale vacant land step by step. Hey guys, it's Rick Ginn. In today's video, I'm going to teach you 4 simple ways to find vacant land deals for your wholesaling business. Number 1, we're going to teach you how to find demand. Number 2, I'm going to teach you one of the easiest ways to find leads for vacant lands. And number 3, I'm going to walk you through X leads and actually pull a list so you can get vacant land deals. And number 4, I'm going to show you how to simply qualify any type of vacant land deal. So guys, before I get into it, do me a favor, make sure you smash that like button, hit that subscribe button so other people can find the truth out about wholesaling. So that's right, we're talking all about vacant land. Yes, wholesaling is not just about wholesaling single family houses or multi-units. Anything that you can put a contract on and sell it is a potential wholesale deal. So why would vacant land be any different? Think about it. Some people are so focused on chasing down single family houses and multi-units that we forget about this thing called vacant land. Now, you all know the saying, God's not making any more land, so this is a great place to get started, and I agree 100% with it. There's 2 particular things I love about vacant land wholesaling. Number 1, there's just so much less emotion involved into it. Nobody lives in the vacant land. They don't consider it at home. And for that reason, it's what I call the less emotional decision. People sell and trade vacant land much more easily and forgiving than they do on a single family house. Why? They don't live there. And let's face it, whatever's got a home or someone's got a story behind it, you get emotion, you get drama behind it. And for this reason, vacant land removes this element. So if you get worried about like these dramatic stories or people becoming emotionally tied up, vacant land is a great place to start in wholesaling. The second feature, number 2, is lack of data. That's right. Vacant land is somewhat what single family houses were almost 20 years ago, meaning there's very little software that can accurately predict the real raw value of that land right there. Now, keep in mind, if sellers don't have that accurate information, it gives you a competitive advantage, meaning like Zillow can tell anyone any day of the week the value of their house very close to the value. When it comes to vacant land, it is the complete opposite. With very, very little data points, most softwares are completely guessing what the value of the land is. And honestly, guys, this gives you a huge competitive advantage. So these 2 things, less emotional transaction and less data, is going to give you a competitive advantage if you start out on wholesaling vacant land. Now, here's the good news is you can do wholesaling vacant land and wholesaling single family houses and multi-units all together. You don't have to separate it. The point of today's video is to show you how to get you jump started on vacant land to incorporate in your wholesaling business. So the first step we have to do is going to be step number 1 is we have to locate demand, because if we don't know where people are buying these vacant lots and buying them up in big numbers, then we want to chase where the demand is. Now, unfortunately, demand is not always where you're located in your backyard, and we understand that. Like I'm here in South Florida, we don't have a lot of vacant lots. And honestly, there's much better opportunities outside of Florida. It doesn't mean I don't do Florida, but there was a 15-year run where I could pick a vacant lot from anywhere, and now there's just small pocket sections. So the first art of the deal is finding out where the demand is. Now, I used to teach you guys techniques on how to use CoreLogic and list source specifically, but I don't want to cause confusion because that is an older technology and we have to move forward. So today I'm going to share some stuff inside of X leads for you. But when we're just looking for raw demand for vacant lots, a lot of the times we're just going to do a simple Google internet search. Now, some of the easiest ones that make a user-friendly site so you can see what the going ask prices are and where there's tons of opportunities. You go to Land Search, you can go to Land Watch, you can go to Land Leader, you can go to LoopNet, and you can do this also in Zillow. And you can simply go up there and pull up an area and look to see how much land is for sale, look to see what the demand is. And a lot of these softwares can give you intel where people are going to. And guys, listen, you got to find somewhere where people are attracted to buying land, where people are going to. Like in the last couple of years, Florida and Texas has been one of the big influxes. You need to find the next Florida and Texas where people are moving. Look for favorable weather, look for favorable tax environment, look for favorable places where people can raise kids and take them to a school they'd be proud of. Honestly, simple common sense will get you to this part. Go ahead and use those sites I mentioned before, and now you can start gauging vacant land activity. Most importantly, to see where people are going to build their dream homes, or more importantly, where builders are going to build these dream homes for end users. That's what we're looking for. In step 2, I'm just going to give you a simple way to find leads for any type of vacant land wholesaling you can do. And the easiest way, in my opinion, is you can go to Zillow or any of the sites I mentioned earlier and just look for rent houses. You're like, wait a minute, Rick, why would I be calling for rents? Because a lot of time people that have for rents have vacant lots that they're looking to build or looking to build a landlord type home. And that is a great opportunity to reach out to those people and see if they have interest. Wait a minute, Rick, it's rent. They're not selling it. The idea is if they have a piece of land or a house, single family house for rent, odds are they're looking for additional opportunities, or they might have one you don't even know about. Honestly, it's one of the easiest ways to take over current subject to deals, to do lease options, to do owner financing, and then to find potential deals that you can take from them to build into a rentable property. Yep, it might just wind up being an infill lot, which is basically a lot that is just waiting to be built, meaning all the utilities and everything's been done, the lot's been cleared. And I just find calling the for rents is one of the fastest ways to get to these types of leads. Now, you can use the other previous sites and look on there and look for demand, or maybe you already have an area in mind. Maybe it's a zip code, maybe it's a city. The more granular you get, the better the results you will get. Now, step number 3 is we're just going to walk you inside of X Leads and show you how to pull up these properties. They're actually pretty simple. Let's just pick an area. I did this a little bit earlier. Let's give it a shot. Montgomery, Alabama. I've never invested there. I have bought a property in that area. And you'll see here we get 70,000 results. Now, I want to show you something that's really cool. This is just a city. Now, if for those of you that want to get a little more granular, now, once again, I don't know Alabama well, but like in Florida, a lot of the buildable lots are going to be out west because that's where the expansion's going. So if you knew that out west was a place where people are doing lots, and say it was in Montgomery, Alabama, then you can actually draw a rectangle here. Watch, I'm going to draw there. I'm going to go right here. And so if you knew the western side was hot, and so it's a more granular search, and we cut that down from 70,000 to 22,000 leads. So guys, if you have an area that has much more where you know the development's going to be, you see this highlighted area, I used a draw-in area, we can do that. Now, the next thing I'd like to do is just go over to the filters. And the next thing I'm going to do in X Leads is I'm going to set my maximum filter to $50,000 because we are just looking to do vacant land. And as that spins, we'll come up with a number. And that cuts us down to 5,019. Perfect. Let's keep moving here. The next property type I'm looking for is I am going to clear all these out, and I am just going to click land. And we are down to 2,320. Now, one of the things I'm going to do is to minimize this. I'm going to go back to property valuations, and I'm going to put this down to 35,000 because my list is too big. Let's just call it 35,000, see what happens. So the whole point of these lists are for you to play around with them and play with the filters to get the optimal amount. So we have 2253. And then what I'm going to do is I like to add on ownership information. I like to put down at least 3 years of ownership. Let's see what happens to our numbers there. Well, let's cut it to 2. That cut it down a little too much. So now I have 621 results. And if you look under this, you can see all different, you'll see a lot of free and clear, cash buyers. And remember, this is a list, and this is a list to find vacant land deals. So we found an area where we had demand. And what I'm going to do is simply just pull up the first one here. Now, if you look, it's got a retail number of 20,700, and then it's got a wholesale number of 13,455. These numbers are not overly reliable. Why? Because I told you information is much less available on vacant land or any type of raw land. So I have kind of parameters. So what you can do is you can either click comparables, which you're not going to have a lot because they're going to be vacant properties, which I see a lot of $5,000 and $8,000 lots. Or what I can do is go back here, and within inside of X Leads, you can search the Google results for it. And what I'm going to do is look for, I'm going to look at realtor.com real quick, get an idea. They estimated at 62, which sounds a little bit high. And then I'm going to go under Zillow as well too and take a look there. And said it was sold on 8/1/23 for $5,000. That is a hard sale. And you'll see here they listed at $5,000 and it looks like that's what they sold it for. So knowing that and knowing I see some other lots on here, we can go back and we can look at one more on, say, Redfin and see what it says. And they're at 20,000. So remember, like I told you before, is the problem is these values are all over. So how do we go out and find the real value to do vacant land? Finding vacant land leads is one of the easiest things to do. The real challenge is going to go out and find cash buyers for these lands. So what I'm going to initially do is go back over to Montgomery, which we're already in there. And then I'm going to go back and change my filters, land 2 years of ownership. I'm going to remove that. So what I did is I went under my cash buyers, and I'm going to use X leads to see if I can find a buyer for that. And I pull up all my filters here. It's vacant land, cash buyer under $35,000. And then what I do is I pull up these results, and here's the really cool part. If I click on this one, I get their cell phone number, I get their email, and I get all their information. And I get a list of all the residential investment properties. Check this out. This gives you everything you want to find out. Now, who am I looking particular when I do this? I can click on any one of these. And the most important thing you can do at this point is really rip through your cash buyers and see what price points they are buying in that area and what types of properties they want. They want a quarter, they want a half acre. And guys, once you find this, the hardest part is finding the valuation for the property. So you already have rough numbers, 20,000 retail, $8,000 wholesale. Now we got to dial that number in and find out what someone's willing to pay for it. So if they're willing to pay $5 or $6 grand for this lot, and I can get them done for $3 to $5 grand, you can make some money. But guys, you can go all the way up. I find the sweet spots. I'm going to give you the numbers right now when doing vacant land deals and wholesaling. They're usually under $50,000 in value. They're usually free and clear. The owners have usually owned them at least 2 years or more. They're infill lots. And on average, to get a good deal, you're going to have to go through around 10,000 leads. Now, you can use X leads to sort it out to get you the highest qualified leads. But guys, vacant land's not hard to do. The hardest part is to finding out what a cash buyer will pay for that. Because remember, most people that own vacant land, they just have a rough idea what they paid for it. And they have no idea what today's current value of that land is unless they get a phone call for someone like you. So let's move on to step number 3, which is how to qualify any type of vacant land deals so you can easily get to a wholesale deal when it comes to vacant land. So remember, when we do single family houses, we teach you qualifying MCTP, motivation, condition, timeline, and price. We're going to change that up a little bit for vacant land because there's a little less urgency based on the condition, because obviously it is land. So instead of using MCTP, we're going to use UBTP. And the U stands for utilities. Like, Rick, why do I need to know about utilities? Remember, once again, I don't want you to be an expert on utilities, but you want to find out if utilities have already been laid with that ground. 9 times out of 10, they already have been. And it is just a great warm-up conversation piece to get your clients warmed up. Keep in mind, this is much easier in doing single-family houses because the questions are not in a personal nature and it's easy for them to answer. So start off with utilities. 9 times out of 10, they'll tell you exactly if the water lines have been run, if electric's been run. And honestly, the more the utility's been set, the closer is to getting that property wholesaled. The second one is going to be building. And the question is, what are you going to build on it? And everyone always has a pipe dream when it comes to this. In fact, less than 50% of the people ever do what they say they're going to do with these vacant pieces of land, but they usually bought it with an intent in mind. Now, some just buy it as an investment and that's fine with it and they land bank it and they'll keep it till they get the price they desire. Those are typically not our best customers. The customers that focus mostly on us, on vacant land deals, on wholesaling, are ones that had a vision for it. They were going to build a custom home there and they just never got around to it. The market had a hiccup. They ran out of funds and they just forgot about it and they let years go by. In fact, most of them just want to get rid of it. They don't want to pay the taxes on it anymore and they don't want to think about it because it reminds them of maybe a bad decision they made. So the first thing we asked about the utilities and then what were they building on the property? That's usually where you're going to find some of the pain. And the next thing is I ask them about their time frame. Why? I do the time frame to tie it all around my pricing and making the offer on the vacant land. I try to get everything done in little as 30 days or less. We can go as long as 90s. Remember, these people aren't living in the property, so this is never a contention sticking point when we talk to them. Why do we bring up time frame? Because we want to remind them that we can get this done in a timely manner to solve the seller's problem, which is getting rid of this piece of vacant land. And the last one's going to be price. And I don't use the word price. I don't use the word offer. I'm not a realtor. Hey, John, what do you think you need for this piece of land to get rid of it? It's simple as I put it. Remember, you need low prices on it. Wholesaling vacant land is no different single family houses. We have to use a go for no. Remember, stop guessing what the seller thinks the property's worth and just make them an offer and see how they react to it. Their reaction is usually going to be a counter. And if you meet the reaction with a response and they truly want to get rid of the property, you, the wholesaler, can put together a great deal on that piece of vacant land. So guys, once you locate where the demand for the vacant property is, just go out there and find vacant lots, skip trace inside of X Leads. It's all included in your account. There's no additional cost. Pull at least 10, 15,000 leads and go through and use the free skip tracing and reach out to every one of these people. Use the qualifying techniques I taught you, UBTP, and keep in mind the sweet spots for vacant land wholesaling. $50,000 or less, own it free and clear, at least 2 years, infill lots, and make sure you pull at least 10,000 pieces of data to have a great shot at getting your first vacant land wholesale deal. Guys, this is everything you need to know to get started on vacant land. Go ahead and start with your X Leads, pull these lists, find the demand, and simply reach out, use the skip traceable feature, and reach out to homeowners to find the ones that have interest in selling the property. And the most important thing is to find out what that market will pay for that piece of vacant land. Once you figure this out, you can repeat this over and over because now the undetermined has already been figured out from you. And once you figure out one lot, you can figure out 100 lots, guys. Don't forget to wholesale vacant land. It works. The question is, are you going to work it? Guys, listen, if you got value from today's video, do me a favor. Make sure you smash that like button, hit that subscribe button. Guys, let me know in the comments, are you doing vacant land to add to your wholesale business? Let me know. And as usual, guys, I appreciate you. I'll see you in the next video.